Hello and welcome back to Love Sex LA Unfiltered. I'm so excited for this episode because I have a very special guest on today. He is TikTok's favorite dating professor, and today he's gonna help us with the infamous term that we all spiral over. If he wanted to, he would. Please welcome from the Daddy Academy, Niko Emanuilidis. Hello, Niko.
Hey, what's up? How's it going? Lovely introduction.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm so excited you're here. I feel like class is officially in session, right?
Class is in session. Let's do it.
Class is in session. I love it. So, I wanted to start out. So, obviously, the whole theme of this episode is if he wanted to, he would. I'm doing a little three-part series on that whole concept. And we're going to get into that in a second. But I wanted to first start off by playing a little game. I think we actually did this once before when we talked and did another little collab for TikTok, but called Date or Ghost. And I'm going to give you a scenario. We're going to break it up into two parts. The first part is going to be more for like female based, and the next is for men. And it's basically, I'm going to give you a scenario, and you're going to tell me based on that scenario if a person should date or ghost that person.
All right, I love it. Let's do it.
Okay. Okay. So this first part is based on a man's behavior. Okay. Okay. He says he's not looking for anything serious, but keeps asking you out.
Ghost. Go. I mean, unless you're okay with that, but if he verbalizes it to you, then it's ultimately your decision what you want to do from there. But if you're looking for something serious, then I would move on.
So if they're transparent about it.
I think transparency is key. I think that's the most important thing. Is somebody who's transparent and gives you the opportunity to make a decision yourself.
Exactly. I love that. I love that. That's how I feel about Mr. Big in Sex and the City. Have you seen that show?
It's so funny you said that because I was just talking to somebody. I started a little series where I was like watching every episode and doing a review on it. But like, I don't know, I got busy. Some stuff got in the way. And I was like almost done with season one. But I'm going to pick it back up because a lot of people really liked it. And like, you got to keep doing that. So I'm like, all right, fine. I got to watch all of it. But I'm going to watch every single episode. But I'm familiar with Mr. Big and like the whole sort of plot of the dynamic.
Yeah, you got to watch it because I want your opinion on this after you watch the whole thing. I always say, Mr. Big, people give him shit. I don't know if you see on TikTok videos or people are like, he's a narcissist and he hurt Carrie. But like, I'm like, okay, I get it. But he was always transparent about who he was. And she chose to keep going.
If you're choosing it, like, yeah, some part of you is choosing that dynamic. Some part of you is feels good in whatever you're choosing, right? So I think that's sort of the point. If at least somebody's giving you the opportunity to make a choice, then you can't really blame the other person at that point. It's really then it's a you decision, and you choose what you choose.
Exactly. Okay, he doesn't follow you on Instagram, but watches every single one of your stories.
Ghost, because I don't like if he's not following you, why is he not following you? Is there someone who he's potentially dating who is keeping tabs on his following list? Like that's probably what the case is. Yeah, because if like, well, here's a follow up to that. Like, is he taking you on dates or is he just looking at your story?
He's just looking at your story.
Yeah, then he's just like he's softly. It's like a soft check in to kind of almost trying to scout when he should make the move in. That's sort of that's usually what that means. But I like a guy who's direct. Like, if you're gonna look at her story, look at it one time and it's luck of the draw. Whatever that picture is, you better be ready to make a comment or be a man and just slide into DMs and just like say, hey, what's up? I saw you wherever. I thought you're cute.
Yeah.
That you got to be direct, like playing this sort of like passive game. It's like, it's not the way to do it, in my opinion.
I agree. I always say the guy that plays the game, like maybe it's fun at first, right? But then I feel like the consistent guy is always going to win, even if you don't like him as much. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you got to like, my advice to men is just be direct, like direct and masculine. And if you want to ask somebody out, obviously you have to have like a little back and forth banter, but more or less just go for it. Trying to do this like in the back door, kind of like feel it out. Like, no, like be confident and slide in the DMs like a fucking man. Yeah.
Thank you.
Like, do
Thank
it. Like, if you're
you.
gonna do it,
Boys,
do it.
take note. Well, and at the end of the day, like you don't want a guy that's like not willing to take a risk on you and not ballsy enough
Totally.
to just step up and do it, right?
Totally. And women more than ever appreciate the directness and the confidence. So yeah, that's my
Yeah,
advice to guys is like just shoot the shot. Like who and if she denies you, it's like who cares? Like really who cares?
exactly. Exactly. And then you just slide into the next DM, right?
On to the next one. That's it. You're learning.
Okay. He's in his 30s and has never been in a serious relationship.
It's a red flag. I don't
Is
love
it?
that.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's different for it's a little different for men and women because I know women who are, maybe have never really been in a serious relationship, but I think like if the guy, all right, well, also it sort of depends on the guy, right? If we're talking about a traditionally good-looking, confident, successful guy and he's never been in a serious relationship, then that's like a just like a forever bachelor player type guy. And like obviously
Yeah.
that's not what we want. Where it's like, okay, or it's a guy who's just defective, right?
He's just a
So
lemon. He's a
he's
lemon.
just like it's just some people who's just like aren't who's just never gonna work out. But I think there's a lot more context I would need to hear about the person specifically to make the judgment call. Like, has he been this forever bachelor? He's successful, or is he a guy that maybe has some sort of like emotionally stunted, growth going on, and he's just like not someone that people vibe with longer than, a few months, a few hookups. So, but usually I would say more times than not, it's a bit of a red flag, and I'd probably ghost the situation.
Yeah. It sounds like it's a case by case, but overall, you would
That's what
say
I would say.
ghost.
That's what I would say.
Okay. Okay, he pays for dinner. He takes you out and pays for dinner, but he says maybe you'll get the next one.
No, you're done. Done.
I think so too,
Just done.
right?
Completely done. You're completely done. Like there's no reality where a guy should be asking you to pay for anything, especially in the courting stage. Like, okay, once you're in like a committed relationship, and then you guys can have a conversation about the dynamic, and if you feel like if that's something that works for you guys, like I'm not going to tell people like how to live their lives in that capacity. Although I
Yeah.
still believe a guy should be paying for mostly everything, but especially in the courting stage, like those words shouldn't even come out of his mouth.
See, daddy is a state of mind, right, Nico?
That is a state
And you
of
got
mind.
it down.
I got it down. Come on, I can't be the dean of the Daddy Academy and not have it down. Come on.
Right? I love it. I love it.
Come
Okay,
on.
this is the last one for the male behavior.
All right,
Okay.
cool.
His phone is always face down and on do not disturb.
uh, yeah, I mean it's a bit of a red flag. Although I have noticed that like some people are just like weird with their phones, but don't really have anything to hide.
Yeah.
I've noticed that. Like I don't think it's immediately like a red flag ghost situation, but I think it's something that, like just keep your eye on.
Yeah.
Like try to get his phone at some point, take a picture, see how he responds to it. But
Yeah.
ultimately, my big thing is like in a relationship, you need trust. So if like there has to be trust, and if you can't trust him and you want to get in that phone really bad, then there's something that you're not getting out of the dynamic that is more important
Yeah.
than you getting in the phone. So it's like making sure that you don't want to get in the phone just because it's like a you thing where you're just like anxious and you just like need that reassurance, because there is a level of like you can't control what other people do. You have to trust. And in a relationship, like if that's not there and you constantly need that type of like reassurance of like going through somebody's phone and knowing what they're doing all the time and like all that stuff, then it's probably not going to work out. But on the flip side, it's like when you're with the right guy, you're not even going to want to do that. So it's
Right.
kind of like, yeah,
I always feel like when you are with the right person, you're not going to question any of that. They're going to make you feel secure
you're
enough
not.
in the relationship. And I'm always also like, maybe, I mean, I guess there's certain situations with the phone thing. Like if their phone's always down or on do not disturb, maybe it's just because they want to give you attention when they're out with you, whatever. But yeah, definitely something
Yeah,
to keep
no,
an eye
I
on.
think that I think that's true. I mean, I would say me personally, like, I'm the type of person where if I'm with a woman, like my phone's like away, like I'm not even
Yeah.
pulling it out. So, but just because like whereas like okay, sure, I could sit it with on the table face up, but like I don't even want to see it. Like if I'm with somebody It even with
Yeah.
my friends too. It's like very like I want to be in the moment with them. I don't want to be on my phone. But like I said, it's something to keep an eye on, and just like if there's a pattern there, if there's a weirdness with the phone, depends. Like, have you only been seeing them for a few months? Is this a long term relationship? There's obviously a lot of different like factors there, but
Yeah.
the phone's a tricky one. But I would just keep an eye on
It
it
sure
if
is.
you're kind of getting some weird energy with it.
On the flip side of that, if you're on a date, now we're talking about a female's behavior. If you're on a date and she is constantly on her phone, like texting, doom scrolling,
No,
whatever
you're
it is,
done. You're done. You're completely done. Like
ghosting,
I
we're
would walk out.
ghosting.
Like I would just walk out on the day. I would literally walk out.
Would you really?
Yeah, it's disrespectful.
Have you ever done that before? Have you ever just got
No,
up
I
and walked
have.
out on
No,
a
I
date?
haven't. But like, okay, let's say like, okay, for example, if someone goes to the bathroom and then like while the person's on the bathroom, you're checking your phone. That's not a big deal. But like, if you're sitting across from me and you're like on your
Yeah.
phone, like I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
It's
Totally.
just rude. It's just
Totally.
rude. But nobody,
So
but
rude.
nobody's doing that. I don't think a lot of people do that unless they're really disinterested.
Yeah.
That would be
And then
pretty.
it's like,
why are
right.
you
And
even
then
here?
it's like, why are they there?
Right.
Okay. She refuses to let you pick her up
Like pick her up like for a date, like in
for
a
a
car,
date.
or like lift
Yes.
her in the air.
No, not literally, for a date in your car.
No, I don't think. I mean, at some point she has to, but like if it's in the early stages of like, let's say within the first 3 dates or so, her not being comfortable as far as like me knowing where she lives, I think that's a good safety thing. So I don't think that's necessarily a red flag, or I don't think I would ghost in that scenario.
There's so many crazies nowadays. I hear like
There is. You got to
horror
be careful.
stories.
Totally. You got to
Yeah,
be. Yeah, you got to be. Safety comes first all the time. So even like
totally.
sometimes, like I know I hear from women a lot of like, oh, I want him to send me an Uber. It's like, listen, I get it. Like I would do that, but you also have to like know the guy that you're going
Yeah,
out with. Like, feel really comfortable with him, like knowing your address. If you do, then fine.
right.
But like, it's just something to think about.
Totally. Totally. I know it is. It's kind of scary, but yeah, I agree with you. Okay, she sleeps with you on the first date.
All right, I don't think it's a red flag. I don't think I wouldn't go somebody who did that. But I mean, my recommendation to women would probably be not to do that. But
Yeah.
it's like people sleep on the first date and get married and get into relationships. So there's no like perfect science to it. But like if you're asking my recommendation, which I'm sure we'll probably talk about later on, we can get
We
into
will.
that. But like I don't think it's not a red flag. It could be, but I think if you're a confident guy and the vibe was there and you're having a great date and it naturally happened, like I don't think men should be like pushy for it to happen. Like I think it's kind of
Yeah.
gross. But I think like there is a world where it's like there's just like an amazing connection there and it just kind of naturally happens. I think the way that a man should internalize it, like a confident guy, wouldn't say, "Oh, she's like a hoe." It would be, it would be, "Oh, I brought that out of her because our connection was so good." You know what I mean? So it's almost looking at it like our connection was so good together that it led to that, not me, not the man saying like, "Oh, she's like easy." You get what I
Yeah.
mean? So it's
Totally.
like it's not
Totally.
I don't think it's like a negative. Could there be a
Yeah.
time? Could I mean? There's there could be a time where it is a little bit of a red flag, depending on the dynamic and how it goes and whatnot. But like, I generally don't necessarily think it is.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Interesting. Well, yep. Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Yeah.
We'll get more into that later. Okay, I'll give you one more. It takes hours or even a full day to respond to text messages.
Ooh, good one. I think I hours is fine. If you leave me on red for full days, it's a no go. I think like, and I noticed this. I think a lot of women like really overthink the texting, where like they'll really try to play games with no, it's the response time doesn't bother me as much as like the one word answer. Don't give a guy
Yeah,
a
like
one word
dry.
answer. Give a guy something to work with. Like if he's trying to take you out and move things along, the very least, like if you're actually interested, at the very least, you gotta like give him some responses to work with, or else he's just like talking to a fucking chalkboard. And it's like, why would he want to take you out again if you're boring?
Right.
Right. So it's
Right.
like, and be yourself. Like, my whole thing is like, if you trust yourself and your boundaries and your standards and you know what you want, then you should feel fine. Like, basically texting kind of as if you've known this person, not like you've known your best friend, but like
Yeah.
pretty comfortable texting the person you're seeing pretty normally, because like, don't you want to see if there's an actual vibe if you act like yourself? Like, that's what you should want. So
Yeah.
I think like the playing too much games texting wise isn't great. There's like, there does need to be some space between texting times. Like, I do agree with, it shouldn't be like boom, 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 boom. But maybe every 2 hours or so, there's a response, and you keep the conversation looping into the next day. So maybe you only exchange 5 or so texts in a day sometimes, maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less. But the quality of the messages is good, and it's a fun little banter, and it keeps the comfort building towards the next time you see each other. Granted, you know when you're going to see the person next, and like that's like the big key. You got to know when you're seeing the person next, or else you're
Yeah.
kind of texting for no reason.
Right. Right. Yeah, I know. There's nothing better than good banter, though, right? Like,
It's
I
the best.
love
It's like
good
what you
banter.
gotta. Yeah, I think like nobody like if we're gonna text, like shouldn't we like make some jokes and like have some fun? Like
Yeah.
why we're not just like, hello, what are you doing today? Oh, that's what I'm doing. Oh, it's like
Yeah.
it sucks. It's like there's no then there's actually no point in texting. Then it should just be, hey, I'll see you on Saturday, and then there's just no conversation anymore.
Yeah.
Like, that's what it should be.
Totally. So, okay, what do you think then when I see people talk about that texting a lot, especially in the initial, when you're initially dating someone,
Yep.
creates like this false sense of connection?
It does. It does. But that's why
Yeah.
the longer response times don't bother me, because it's
Yeah.
avoiding the boom, 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 boom. I
Yeah.
really don't think there should be a lot of that. Like, there could be in like little spurts, like maybe we just went on a date and you got home and I'm like, text when you get home safe, and you do, and like maybe we have like a little like 3 or 4 like bam, 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 bam. Like, that's
Yeah.
fine. And like maybe sometimes like maybe there's another moment where that happens, but I think the proper response times and kind of like having in your mind, okay, I don't answer after 10 p.m. Maybe during my 9 to 5, if you have one, like I only answer 2 times. So you kind of like give yourself some rules to
Yeah.
text by, and that allows the proper amount of space to not get sucked into the false sense of intimacy by getting too close. Because I think there should be communication, like if not every day, every other day. There could be a few gap days, like there could be 2 or 3 days you don't hear from the person, but if the last conversation was really positive, there was talks about seeing each other soon, and then he kind of tells you when he's going to text you again, and then he does, like, then it's like, okay, I could trust the dynamic of, yeah, maybe we don't talk for a day or so, but I still know where this is going, or at least I know when I'm going to see him next. So there are little nuances to it, but like you don't want to be texting somebody like all day, like nonstop. I mean, it creates a false sense of intimacy and connection
Yeah.
that is further along than where you are physically, as far as like how many times you physically have been in the presence of the person.
Totally. Totally. I know. So like, what do you think of, okay, this is like side note. I went on a first date the other day, and
Okay.
the guy confirmed 2 nights before. He asked me out on a Thursday. He texted me Friday and said, "Are you still good for Saturday?" And then even though he confirmed on Friday, I was like, I still want a day of confirmation. I don't want to just show up.
You need a day of
Right?
confirmation. Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Because I'm like, I don't want to just show. I don't know what the plan is. Like, you know what I mean?
Because like then you have to plan out. You have to plan out as, see, this is where like I gotta like make a masterclass, texting leading to a first date masterclass, because there's like you have to like there's a way to craft the conversation so that. So you said he confirmed how many days before?
So he asked me out on Thursday. Friday, he texted and said, "Are you still good for Saturday?" And then he ended up doing a day of confirmation. So he did do that.
He
But I
did.
was like, I need the day of
But
confirmation. Like, I need it.
what time did he text you on Saturday?
Like a few hours before the date.
See, like I would like by noon, 1
Right?
p.m. the
That's what I
late
was
1
thinking
p.m. the latest,
too.
1 p.m. Because if you heard from him on Friday, it's like, okay, we're pretty confirmed that this is definitely happening. But you still want that like day of, morning of, and like what I think a good line for a guy to say is something like, I'm really craving like a dirty martini right now. I can't wait for those dirty martinis later. Or like you got to make a
Yes.
joke about like I'm ready for the drinks. Like you gotta
Yeah.
say something like that.
Like make it fun, flirty, so it's not so
Yeah, make it fun.
serious, but you're also
Yes, it's not.
confirming.
It's not like because as a guy, you don't want to say like, "Are we still good for tonight?" It's like, no, assume it is. Just
Yeah.
say something kind of like flirty about, about the night or like where you're going or what you're drinking. I don't know. That's like the
Yeah.
best way to handle it.
Yeah. But see, the things you're saying also would require someone to be super confident in themselves, right?
Correct.
And not everyone's a daddy, Niko.
Nah, I know.
You gotta-
I'm learning. That's why. That's
Okay.
why I'm here. We're trying to. I don't know. Yeah, it's tough. It's rough out there. I understand.
Yeah, exactly. But okay, but that kind of goes into actually the main topic of today. If he wanted to, he would. And, I always love your perspective on things because I
Thank
actually feel like the advice you give, it's not some like sci-fi insane concept. It's actually very much common sense. But a lot of people are, I don't know, I feel like people have gone so outside of what was like old school or not even old school, but what was,
Yeah.
expected at one point. And
Sure.
they, try to get too creative and clever, right? But it's actually so much simpler than people make it out to be. Don't you
So
think?
much. Totally.
So
Totally. I think the phones and the digital age and dating apps kind of created like a sort of like a game nature to it where people's attention spans and what they're looking for and their standards are like all out of whack. So then everyone's sort of playing this attention game and how to like hook someone and grab attention. And basically the way men do it now is by kind of like, oh, I kind of got to like ignore her and be kind of like have to manufacture this sort of like douchebag personality or texting style to try to like make her question like, is am I going out with him? Is he like me? Is it going to work? Where I think where it comes back around is like, okay, yeah, you could play all those games and manufacture attraction that way, or you could just be like straight up and be cool.
Yeah.
Like just be cool. Like just be cool. Ask somebody out. Be direct. Be funny. Show your personality. Like send her a little voice. Like I like voice notes. Sending a voice note is always like a really cool way to like show some personality. Like you get her. Let's say you're on a dating app. You get her number. Instead of just like texting her, like shoot her a voice note. Stand out from the crowd. Too many people are doing the same thing. So now like the direct approach is kind of like you stand out when you do the direct thing now versus like the game and the wishy-washy and all that kind of stuff. So I think like more guys kind of realizing that that's the better way to be, they'll see way more success that way.
Yeah. Well, and like you said, like just be cool. But I think some of these people aren't cool is the problem. You know what I mean?
That's
like,
the problem.
But it's
people,
funny because I've had 2 guys that I was talking to admit to me that they play games. And I was like, why are you even admitting this right now? But they did. And the one guy was like, okay, like you say like he watched the podcast and that I did last week. And he's like, you say if he wanted to, he would. But do you girls really mean that? Like, do we have to play like a little harder to get? Do we have to play a game? And I'm like, well, if it's the right person, like I get like being a little mysterious, whatever, you don't have to like go full force.
So I say there's understanding attraction is game.
Yeah.
Men need to have game. Playing games is taking that knowledge to manipulate an outcome. So that's where it's like you start going down like the wrong path as a guy, where understanding how women think, how they behave, how their brains work. It's like if you understand that, you'll know how to be the most attractive version of yourself. And at the end of the day, if you're being yourself and you understand these things and she's not receptive to it, then it's like the most attractive thing you could do then as a man is walk away. Because it's like, what am I going to do? I'm trying to convince this person to like me. And same thing for women too. You shouldn't try to convince a guy to like you, So it's like, it's just having the confidence in yourself and knowing what you're worth and just kind of moving that way. I think is always the best way. Like playing games is just like, then the other person's gonna play games back, and it's like this never ending loop of just garbage. Really.
Yeah. No, it's true. But I love that quote. I love it. Can we just quote that for a second? Like, have game, don't play games. That
Yeah,
needs to
that's
be
it.
like your slogan. I love it.
I know. I've been saying
That's a
that for
good
a while.
one.
It's so true. I mean, it's a big problem with a lot of guys, and because I guess you would say like the nice guys, so to speak, right? There's probably a lot of men out there who would be a really good partner or someone to be in a relationship with, but they don't understand attraction. They don't understand how to become the most attractive version of themselves. Like, for example, just like personally speaking, it's like when I was younger, like I'm 31 now, but when I was like 17 years old, right, and coming out of high school, like I was always a good communicator. Like I won class clown in high school, so like I was like funny and I was good, but I was not good with women. Like I was asking
Really?
my friends. No, I was not like the cool ladies' man in high school. I had my first girlfriend after high school, so like
Oh my gosh.
I
And now you're
think
educating.
I might have kissed one girl in high school,
Yeah.
like literally. So I'm like
Wow.
but I had good social skills. I just didn't have
Yeah.
the confidence to translate it into dating. So like I said, I'm doing something wrong, or like I'm not understanding something, and I watched content at that time and kind of like I'm like, oh, okay, like I'm not doing this, I'm not doing that, and then my own sort of self-help journey, hitting the gym, that was like huge for me to gain confidence, and like I built myself up over time and sort of through trial and error figured out how to be more confident. And like I said, I always had pretty good social skills and was funny, so like I had a natural sort of skill set there. But like as a man, you gotta fucking figure it out. You can't just, you women say they want this, but then they don't want that. It's like, no, dude, like the common denominator's you. If it's not working out, you're doing something. And I think that's true for everybody. If there's something that continuously keeps happening, like you keep losing guys, or you're a guy and you can't get women, it's like there's something that you're doing. There's some role you're playing. So you can't blame other people. You gotta look inward first and just kind of determine what that is. And it might not be this like crazy thing. It might just be a limiting belief. It might just be a limiting belief that you have to face and figure out how to like change that mindset. But for a lot of guys, it's usually kind of it's a lot of different things. But that's a man's journey, is to figure that out. Very passionate
Yeah.
about this. But
I
it's
love
like,
it. I love
it's
it.
true. It's just like I
Yeah.
that's the thing why that's why I'm passionate about it, is because like I did it. Like I did it. Like I easily could have just been like, I don't know. it's just blame
Yeah. And now
other
you're
people for my
teaching everyone
problem.
else.
Now I'm teaching everybody else, So
Isn't that
but
funny? Life
people
always
need it.
does a 180.
I know.
Yeah.
It's very funny. I love
It's
it.
crazy. So, what are your, like, when you hear the line, if he wanted to, he would, what is your, like, first, like, initial thought, like, your first instinct when you hear it? And I know it's, like, very black and white sounding, and I don't know if there's, gray areas. I want to know your
Yeah.
thoughts, though, when you first hear that line.
So I would say this: it's true 80% of the time. I would say that
Okay.
20% of the time, that comes into play if a guy isn't quite at the point of his life that he feels worthy of a particular woman. So for example, like let's say this guy on the surface is a like cool, tall, attractive, but like maybe he's not quite in his career at a point where he's making like a ton of money. Like he's kind of still figuring some things out. Let's say I don't know. Let's say he's 28 years old, right? So he's on like a little bit on the older side, but like not like in his 30s. And then he meets a woman who's around the same age, who's like his dream woman, right? Who maybe from Instagram or so, he might see her and say, "Oh, she lives kind of like a little bit of a luxurious lifestyle." But like this is exactly the type of woman I would want to be with. In that dynamic, he might want to sleep with her, but there's going to come a point where he's not going to feel worthy, and he might stop doing the things that he would want to do, or like that if he felt fully confident in himself that he would do, versus a guy who's like fully ready to date, good spot in his life, confident. If he meets a woman and he like really likes her, he's going to do everything. Like, he's going to do everything. He's going to plan the dates. He's going to take care of you, provide a protector, that whole thing. If a guy's not doing those things, like I said, 80% of the time, if he's not doing those things, it's because he doesn't want to. 20% of the time, it's a life circumstance that he's working through, and he's just doesn't really feel worthy of the woman that he's kind of dating. So I would say it's true. Like I said, it's true like 80% of the time. Maybe more, but that's kind of what I would say.
That makes sense. That makes sense because okay, so I actually have a theory, and I call it the green banana theory. And
right.
basically,
All right. I think I get it.
basically, it's what you're saying though. If a man is not ready in some aspect of his life, whether it's like financially, emotionally, whatever it is, he is a green banana. He's just not ready. You can't fix it. You can't, rush it. He's got to do it in his own time.
I like that. The
basically.
green banana. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. That's a good.
Yeah.
That's actually a really good visual, way to metaphor way to put it. I think that's true, and I think there is a lot of pressure on guys to have all their shit together, and whether women think that they're putting that pressure on guys or not, guys feel that, but it just depends. Some guys say to themselves, "Oh, I don't give a fuck," and they're just like, they'll just continue to live their life, and then you'll realize they're a loser down the line, and then it just doesn't work out. Or there's the opposite, where there's a lot of guys who are like hyper aware of that, and it stunts their confidence, their ability to put themselves out there, and they kind of get stuck in a loop that if they're not confident, then they're not maybe attacking their finances the way that they should. And if they're not attacking the finances the way that they should, then they're not confident. And then it's just like this like never-ending loop that leaves a lot of guys feeling very stuck in life. But everyone wants companionship too. So then it's like, then sometimes guys just go out for casual, and then they kind of get addicted to casual while stuck in this loop. And like, that's how, a lot of people are in that sort of headspace.
Totally. Yeah. And it's funny because I feel like, let me know what your thoughts are on this.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of the time when you hear about guys ghosting someone and girls are so upset, like, I feel like those instances, like, that's what triggers them. Is there something going on in their own life? You know what I mean? That could trigger it. What do you think?
I think so. I think a good amount of the time that's the case, where he's not ready for a relationship for whatever reason. The other side of the spectrum is a guy who's, as we were talking about, like, financially or whatever. But then there's guys who are just emotionally not really capable of a serious relationship, like the defective ones, like I said. Which is why when you're on these dates with these guys, you got to like ask a lot of questions. Like, don't be afraid in the first few dates to talk about his dating history. But there's no reason why you can't talk about that stuff. And it's because it's important to get some context. Like, when was his last relationship? How did it end? Did he end it? How many girlfriends has he had? They're just important questions just to know. We don't have to get into crazy detail about it. But like, the point of dating is to be able to put together the puzzle of his life, so that you're seeing if his words and actions align with this, what you know of him. Because seeing his actions and what he's saying, there's a context behind all of that. So like learning like the frame that the picture is sitting in, like, you got to know what it is. So like, that's in the first 3 to 4 dates or so, you should get a pretty good idea of who this guy is, his life situation, his passions, his family life, his social life, his friends. And like, then you see if his words match what you're hearing as far as like how he was raised, all that kind of stuff. And then how is he treating you? What are the actions that he's doing? And if everything feels healthy there, like, you'll know if it feels like a healthy balance. And then if you are looking for something serious, certain checkpoints, like let's just say after 5 dates, just a little check-in, just like, hey, like, how are we feeling about things? Because like, guys usually lie by omission. They usually don't straight up lie. So it's important, especially, and women, like, your time is more valuable than guys in that sense. So it's like, you just want to make sure, things are on the right track. You're like you're not telling a guy what to do or how to be, but you're like the bumpers in a bowling alley, and you're kind of just like keeping things under control. And then like,
Yeah.
but if he's not feeling it, then you're giving him an out to say it so that you're not getting, looped into like a situationship or anything like that. I
Yeah.
just went down a
No, that,
tangent. I don't even remember what the question
I
was, but
love it. I love it because it's so helpful. I love it. Okay, so getting back to dating theories. So when it comes to if he wanted to, he would. I know we talked about my little green banana theory. Have you heard of the theory, the taxi cab theory?
yeah, yeah.
I think it was from Sex and the City, actually. And basically, if a guy, like a taxi cab, if his light is off, it doesn't matter how great someone is that they're dating. Like, if they're not ready, they're not ready. But then once their light goes on and they're ready to be with someone seriously and they're, ready in all aspects of their life, it doesn't matter who it is that's they're with, they commit. Do you think that's true when it comes to
I think there's a
dating?
lot of truth. I think there's a lot of truth to it. But I do think that if a guy met like the one in a million, I think it would trump. I think it could turn the taxi cab light on.
Interesting. I like that. See, I'm with you on that.
I think it can. Are there certain circumstances where maybe it can't? Maybe like if it's a really bad life situation he's in,
Yeah.
something like that. Like sure. But I think generally speaking, you could turn a guy's taxi cab light on if you're exactly what he's looking for and he knows it right when he meets you.
So you think that when people talk about a lot of the time, like, oh, the timing just wasn't right, or, like right person, wrong timing. I agree with you. I think in a way, when it's the right person, like timing isn't always an issue if you want to make it happen.
No. Yeah, I agree. I agree. Like there's people I bet in my past that I'm like,
Yeah.
in my mind, I'm like, another time, another place. But then I'm like, but then as years have gone by, I'm like, that's not the right person. That was never the right person.
Yeah.
So it's like we romanticize things, but then as time goes on, we're like, it becomes more clear, like that just wasn't my person.
Yeah. Like in hindsight.
Yeah, I think that always becomes clear. I think when people can't get over somebody, I think that's a you issue of why do I feel such a scarcity in my life that I can't find a connection better than that, just as good as that one. And that's more of like that's part of like your individual life journey is to learn that lesson from that relationship and move forward. Because I think every relationship that we have, whether it's a serious one or a casual one or someone we're just going on some dates with, it's meant to teach us something or show us something, and it's important to learn those lessons and to apply it moving forward. So I think a lot of people, if they're people who are stuck on that one X or that one O years later, it's like, oh, we're on and off for 4 years or whatever. It's like there's something you got to learn from that. There's something you have to learn to move on from. Like it's not your person. Like it doesn't work like that. You don't stay with somebody on and off for 3 years and all of a sudden get married. And if you do, I can almost guarantee you end up divorced at some point. So it's like it's like, there's a pattern.
Right.
It's gonna happen. Right.
Yeah, no, for sure. And what was I going to say? I was going to say something to your point. I think I have short-term memory loss. There's just so much going on in my head at all times. Like, seriously.
Yeah.
But okay, so, with that whole quote, if he wanted to, he would.
Yeah.
Do you think there's any gray area, or like how far does it really go? Like, I've had guy friends say to me, like, even if a girl is in a relationship, they're like, just because there's a goalie doesn't stop me from scoring or whatever. And I'm like, okay, so like how deep does it go? Like if a man really wants something, how far does it go?
I think that kind of comes down to a guy's morals, because like, I mean, I wouldn't try to steal someone's girlfriend. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I think it like kind of depends. Everyone's a little bit different. Like their moral compass is a little different. So like, and I like, I'm just using myself as an example. I think a lot of guys can relate to me. It's like, I'm not chasing somebody to be in a relationship with me.
Yeah.
Like it's not going to happen. I'm going to pursue. Like I'll make it very known how, that I want to take you out and I want to see where this goes or whatever. But like, if I feel like it's not being reciprocated, it's like, I'm not going to keep wanting to, I'm not going to do it. Like I think a lot of, and that is actually healthy. And that's what makes women actually want to be with these certain guys. They kind of like, I'm choosing this because I want to be in a relationship with you. I want to see where it goes, but I don't need this. I
Yeah.
want it. I want it to be wood. Like, I want this. I don't need this. Once there's a needy energy attached to a man, it kind of becomes like repulsive to women.
Right.
You know? So it's like, yeah, you want a guy to want you, but like if he starts to feel like I'm chasing to make this happen and it's not being reciprocated in the right way, a healthy masculine guy who has confidence in himself is going to walk away. Or if it's
Yeah.
like if like the woman's like self-sabotaging and it's becoming like a nightmare, it's like I don't need this. Like we're not doing this. You
Yeah.
know, it's like
Yeah.
how much so there is a level where a guy's going to stop pursuing if things
Yeah.
aren't if he's not feeling good about the scenario. But like I said, but like if he wanted to, he would. I think it's mostly a very true statement as far as especially as far as like planning dates, doing those like extra sort of like grandiose things to try to like make you feel special. It's like that's truly like a guy's gonna do that for a woman that he feels is like worth doing that for 100%.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you feel like men ever need a nudge from a woman to give them the go ahead?
Go ahead to like keep moving things forward.
Yeah, or like just the even initial pursuit of it.
Some guys do. Some guys do. I think when it comes to progressing the relationship further, like maybe the are we official now, or like the I love you, or things like that, and specifically those two. I think in a perfect world, a guy is very attuned and very observant to the verbal cues from a woman, her body language, the things she's doing. And through that, you can sort of time up when the appropriate time and place to do and say certain things are. So like it's like a subtle nudge where like guys who are really attuned to that can pick up on that. Where some guys are not as attuned to that and need a little bit more of like a verbal confirmation of where things are and where things are going. So I think it kind of depends on the guy and his like savviness with understanding women. But yeah, some
Yeah.
guys need a little bit more than others and it just sort of depends.
Yeah, for sure. No, that makes sense. Totally makes sense. And then I want to get into like kind of straying away from the whole concept. If he wanted to, he would. I want to pick
Yep.
your brain. And I feel like a lot of girls want like there's so many questions because modern dating's so complicated, right? I feel like
Yeah.
you would think with dating apps and like having access to everything at all times, you would think it makes it easier, right? Or like easier to find someone because there's a whole pool of people out there. But it actually makes it so much more complicated, right? And confusing because it's almost like we have too much information and too many options at all
Well,
times, right?
we have like the same lizard brain we had like 60,000 years ago. But so you take that same lizard brain and now you give it access to anything and everyone at all times in the palm of your hand. We're like we can't handle it. So yeah, it
Right.
kind of fucked us up.
It's crazy. It really is. It's crazy. So, okay. When going back to kind of what we touched on earlier, what triggers a man to ghost a woman and what triggers them then to resurface and come back? Because they always come back. They always come back.
Yeah, I would say this. I would say what triggers him to ghost a woman is that he knew all along that he was not gonna. This is not a girlfriend type person. He didn't straight up say, "Hey, I'm not looking for something serious," because he probably wanted to try to sleep with her, and he thought that if I say that, it's probably not going to happen, and I kind of got to like keep that close to the chest and just kind of feel it out because maybe I don't owe her saying that because I don't know how I feel, but he knows how he feels. He hooks up with her, or even if he doesn't, if he does, so let's look at both options. If he hooks up with her and then he ghosts, he kind of got what he wanted, and now he's like, okay, I can't milk this any further, or else I'm gonna really be a bad guy. We hooked up on the third date. It's kind of a mutual decision. I'm gonna ghost, and then if he comes back after that, the point of the ghosting is to not close the door. So the door is still open because there was no official, hey, I'm sorry, I'm not feeling this, and I really like you, but I wish you all the best. So as long as that door is like kind of open, if he ghosts or like soft ghosts, he could always like softly re-enter down the line. So he's not closing the door. And I guess sort of the same thing for if he doesn't sleep with you, it might be a little different. It might just be like he wasn't feeling the connection, or he was dating somebody else that was like a little further along and kind of seeing that through. So instead of like pushing things along with you, he kind of decided to like cut the losses and end it where it was at, knowing that, hey, if this doesn't work out, like I can come back. But if I sleep with her, then that I might not be able to do that. So sometimes it's strategic in that way. Or like I said, or just maybe he just wasn't feeling it and just ghosted, like the way most people kind of do it. But usually when they come back, it's because I always say like he went out to venture and the well was dry, and he came back to Old Faithful because he knows that one's that works. That there's water in that fountain. So that's usually the reason, and that's why they don't really close the door and that they ghost, is just to kind of leave that opportunity window open to slide back in if he feels like he needs to.
Yeah, I saw a quote the other day to your point, and I was like, this is exactly it. I saw a quote, and it was like, they don't come back because they've changed. They come back because they know you haven't. They keep coming back. You know what I mean? Like they keep coming back thinking, okay, she'll take me back, that kind of thing.
Yeah, and every time you let the guy come back, like literally what he does in his, like, so for anyone watching, this is what a guy does. If he ghosts you and then he comes back, like, let's just say like a year later, and you let him back, he literally goes like, ha ha ha. Like, got it. I still got it.
My
like,
gosh.
That's like, I don't know if he verbally does that, but like, that's the thought process. It's like, I still got it. Like, yeah, all right. Old Faithful.
Yeah.
Like, do you want to be Old Faithful?
No,
Listen,
we don't want to be Old Faithful.
If the guy treated you really well and it was a mutual kind of like mutual fizzle out, and then he comes back, it's a different story. Like there's obviously some different circumstances, but like, you know, the one I'm talking about where like you wanted it to be something, he ghosted you, and then he comes back because he's just going to do the same thing again, pretty much.
Yeah. No, exactly. And I feel like it's like, I don't know if you've seen the movie He's Just Not That Into You, where they're like, you're not the exception, because I see people on TikTok, they're like, he ghosted me or he ended things and all of a sudden he came back and now we're married. And I'm like, that's the exception. Like that is not, that is not the everyday. So, okay, to that, when a guy does ghost or, you know, ends things in some capacity, what do they think when they see the girl post like a thirst trap or like some sort of like deep quote after they've ghosted them? Like, do men like know what's going on?
Yeah. I think women, this is a good take. I think women underestimate. Women underestimate how savvy some guys are at like seeing those signs and knowing it's about them and then playing off of it. So actually, as a woman, I think that's one of the worst things you could do if you're dealing with a professional F-boy, because he sees that and he's like, oh, the hooks are just going in deeper. Like I have this even more on lock than I thought I did.
Yeah.
So
I feel like they
I wouldn't
go
do
even
that.
like quieter. Yeah.
They'll go quieter for a little bit longer.
Yeah.
They're like, okay, you just earned yourself another 2 days. And then they'll kind of like, and then they'll keep it just a little bit longer, and then they'll come back with you don't want to get into that game. You don't want to get into that game. It's like, and I was talking to somebody the other day. We have a tendency to get like anxious about like, oh, is this person texting me? Like, where are they? What do they think? Whatever. Whenever you start feeling that feeling, because like we're putting our energy outward when we do that. Take that energy and just like put it into yourself. I'm amazing. Like just verbal affirmations to yourself. And like, you know, I'm worthy of exactly what I want. I love my life. I love this. He's either for me or he's not. Doesn't matter. I'm attracting the best person for me.
Yeah.
And just like take that, because anxious energy, it's energy, right? You could take energy, then anxious energy, and transmute it into excitement. So transmute that anxiousness into excitement for yourself and the possibilities of like, it doesn't matter where this goes. It's going to be fun no matter what. And if this person's not for me, hey, whatever. It's not for me. If he's not going to come back, it doesn't matter. So it's like it's controlling your energy and your thoughts and always keeping yourself grounded and centered. Honestly, it's going to make you more attractive and more likely for this guy to like you, generally speaking. But it's also going to help you attract the right person and stop you from being so reactive and kind of being able to take your dating life kind of by the horn, so to speak, rather than like at the mercy of other people's thoughts and decisions.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like too, like when it comes to playing games, like if you like someone or they like you only because you're playing a game, like it's gonna
Then
collapse. It's
that's
gonna
not. It's gonna
self-destruct.
collapse.
Yeah.
It's like a
Yeah.
found. Yeah, it's like a foundation made of sand. It's like it's just not
Yeah.
gonna. It's not gonna work.
Yeah. Like anytime that I haven't liked a guy and then all of a sudden like he stops talking to me and I'm like, what's
Right.
going on here? Then it ends up self-destructing all on its own. It
Of
wasn't meant
course,
to be. That's just,
wasn't meant to be.
I mean, yeah, exactly. Okay, I want to talk a little bit about you though too. So last time I
Okay.
talked to you, you were in a relationship. Are you still in a relationship?
I'm pretty newly single.
Are you? Oh my
Yeah,
God, the daddy is single.
yeah. Yeah. No,
Oh
I
my
am.
gosh. That's wow. Okay, so and it's so crazy too, because I was thinking about you. I think I've watched some of your older stuff. You were in music too, right?
Yeah, yeah. I'm a musician.
You were in music. So how did you start your whole daddy academy, that niche of like educating
Yeah,
people on dating?
yeah, sure. So basically, like I always knew that I wanted a platform where I'm entertaining people, I'm helping people. Like I've always loved
Yeah.
being in front of a camera or on a stage. So like I always knew that that was what I was meant for in life. Like I wasn't meant to do a 9 to 5 and sit at a desk. Like I've gotten laid off from jobs. I'm like, this just isn't meant for me, right? So back in so I started doing the music, right, from like 2015 up until now, still doing it now, but uh basically right around like 2020 or so, so I'll give you the origin of the name. It's a funny story. So
Yeah.
I was playing in like men's leagues and sports leagues with my friends. And I don't know if somebody like if I self-proclaimed myself as daddy, maybe I like dunked on someone. I'm like, I'm daddy. Like I don't know what the hell I did. But like it kind of picked up with my friends as like kind of like an inside funny joke. And then I started sending like I would send like pump up gym videos to my friends of like, hey, we're hitting chest today. This is the fucking Daddy Academy, baby. And I don't know how I came up with the name, but my friends thought it was like hilarious. Like, oh my God, it's such a funny name. And it just became a thing, like an inside friend group joke. And I'm like, that actually is a really good name
I
that
love that.
hey, maybe one day it would be something. So whatever, like 2020, pandemic happened. After that, I moved to the city like 3 years ago. And the thing about the band and my music is that, for a band, you need like 4 guys who are like all in, like 1,000% in. And the other guys in my band, like they're committed and whatnot, but not as passionate about just being a public facing person as I am, right?
Yeah.
But throughout this whole time, I have been super fascinated with the men women dynamics, social dynamics, learning about this stuff. Like I said, I'm like earlier about like my sort of journey as a man and like improving and all that stuff. So like that's always been at the core of one of my main interests. It was always like music, fitness, and that.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, all right, I want to start my own TikTok page. Like I want to I want to have full control. Like this is my thing. It's not a group. It's not, this is my thing. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to name it the Daddy Academy because I think that's a funny name and let's just go with it, right? But my point of doing it was I wanted to help guys. Like I wanted to be the man's man, right? And I thought the Daddy Academy name, just like with my friend group, was a funny name that dudes would like call me daddy. And it would be like an inside like dude joke. So I started posting videos and for like 6 to 8 months and 2,000 followers, 3,000 followers. And then my sister said something like, why don't you just like make a video for women? Just like see how it does. I'm like, all right, I guess I will. So I made a video talking about the daddy energy, like talking to women, and I got 30,000 followers overnight. And
Holy
then
shit.
I just kept answering questions, and then I got like 100,000 followers in a month. The New York posted a story about me, and I'm like, I guess I'm like a women's dating like dating guy now. But I think that's why it worked because I didn't go into it being like, oh, I gotta help all the women. Like, yeah. Like it was just it naturally happened. And it makes sense because like I have a younger sister. I've always helped her and her friends. Like I have a lot of like women friends. I've always been like super in touch with like my feminine nature in a good way. Like I've always
Yeah.
just been really
You're
in
surrounded
tune
by
to that.
women.
Surrounded by women, I'm very empathetic. I was always naturally empathetic and someone that people go to talk to. And
Yeah.
I would love helping people. I also coached women's basketball. Me and my dad ran a travel basketball association where I was a women's basketball coach, like middle school, high school girls. So it's just like
Oh my
funny. It's
gosh.
like I've always had a way of like communicating with women and a trust there. So I'm like, it actually kind of
Yeah.
like makes sense how it happened. But ultimately, like what I know is going to end up happening is men online, they gravitate usually towards like toxic messaging, right? But the other way that it works is they see a guy has like, why do all these women follow this guy? What is he saying? What is he doing? And I think with like the content strategy that like we're sort of coming up with, that's how it'll come full circle and I'll end up getting more men followers and ultimately I'll be able to help the young guys like the way that I really want to. But that's just like part of
Yeah.
the journey. But that's sort of like that's kind of like the origin of how it all sort of happened and came about. And it's
Wow,
funny.
that's crazy. Well, the Daddy Academy, that's a name that's like very memorable, but wow,
It's
I love
polarizing.
that. I feel like
It's
you've lived a
polarizing.
lot of lives.
I really have. It's very funny, and
I can
it's just
tell.
funny. It's funny what ends up like working. Like it's funny what ends up working and clicking. And I think ultimately why it did is just because I just started being myself and doing online what people like about me in person. You know, I
Yeah,
think
you're
that's
yourself.
for other people who are like making content or whatever, I think it's actually pretty important to like what people like about you in person translates through the phone, or like what people
Yes.
would say about your best qualities about you. They translate through the internet, through the phone. So I just like I always love helping people. I'm always like the person that my friends call for advice, and it's just like I just started doing that, and it worked.
Yeah, I
I
love
love it.
that. I love that. I can tell you have that like empathetic energy. What are you? You're like an air sign of some sort. You like a Gemini or a Libra or
I'm a
something?
Libra. Yeah.
You're a Libra? Oh, I know a Libra when I see one. I love it.
Uh,
Oh my gosh. So,
what are
okay, so
you?
you're
What are you?
single now. I'm an Aquarius. We're both air signs.
Oh, okay. Aquarius. That's January.
Yeah, January 24th.
Hi, my best friend's an Aquarius.
See, we're compatible. See, this is why
We're
this works, right,
compatible.
Nico? I love it. Oh
Totally.
my gosh. So, okay, so you're single now. Are you in recovery mode or are you like in dating mode? Are you on the apps? Where are you at?
Yeah, no, I'm in recovery mode. It's
Yeah,
still fresh. Like I don't want to like talk too much about it just because of like
I get it.
I didn't really talk about my relationship in general because it's just more
Smart.
of a private thing. But
Smart.
yeah, I'm still like in the process of getting that like sort of social energy back and whatnot. But she's like,
Yeah.
like I said, I would never talk bad about any of my exes. I think they're all amazing in like their own ways. But it's just like, yeah, it's just sort of the process of kind of getting your spark back, so to speak, after like a tough thing, you know?
Yeah, totally. That's smart though. Take a little breather, take a break. Any other projects you have going on? Anything else that you can share with us
Well,
right now?
yeah. Well, I have my new show, the Daddy Academy. It's on YouTube. It's going to be on Spotify soon, so you can check it out there. Obviously, the Instagram, Niko Eman, TikTok, the Daddy Academy. I'm working on some like a coaching masterclass, so something that people could purchase. Hopefully, in the next few months, that comes out. If you want to work with me one on one, you can shoot me an email, a DM. So I do a little bit of that as well. But yeah, just trying to make the best content and make this show the biggest dating show on the internet, along with yours.
I
That's
love
why
it.
I'm
I love
rooting
it.
for you as well.
Thank you. I'm picturing, you know what I see? I see you in GQ. Like that's where I picture your like
There we go.
stuff
Yeah, I
going. I
like
love
that.
it. I'm manifesting for you. I'm
Oh, I
manifesting. Okay, where can
appreciate
everyone
that.
follow you?
Yeah, so Instagram at Niko Eman, TikTok the Daddy Academy, YouTube the Daddy Academy. Yeah, that's where you can find me.
Oh my gosh. Okay, well, thank you so much for being here today. This was so much fun. I always love
My
talking with
pleasure.
you. And
You
we're gonna have
too.
to meet eventually. We're gonna in LA, New York, somewhere.
Yes.
We'll figure it out. Maybe in the middle, in Kansas. I don't know. Somewhere. We'll figure it out. Right?
We'll figure it out.
All right. Thank you, Nico. And thank you guys. Episode
My
6.
pleasure.
So excited. Thank you. And have a great rest of your day.